actually have a match to commentate. Let's do this. rENEgadE versus Duffman. Now, rENEgadE, actually the player to the left, with Duffman being the player. There you go. Hey! CTG, everybody. CTG, everybody. But yeah,
rENEgadE, he's a really good up-and-coming player. I played with him online, I think 2 days ago, and he was like, it was really good games. He was taking a lot of them off me.
Yeah.
But his Pikachu is really good. Once he gets a throw, I mean, that's all Pikachu needs, right? Is
exactly.
one throw off stage, and then quick edge guard, and that's Falcon stock.
Yeah, you know, a lot of folks feel like this matchup is in Falcon's favor, but you know, I'd say, like, especially looking at G3, that this matchup is really, really close.
It is really close.
I'd say it's like closer towards even at some of the higher levels. Maybe at the mid levels, you know, it may have a bit more variance, but of course the big part is going to be all about the grabs. Who gets the grab? Because Falcon off of a grab can, you know,
just get 1-0 to death, and it's
exactly.
over. But Pikachu, one grab off stage, and then one like any aerial, and then it's over. I mean, if he can eat Falcon's second jump, then there's no way Falcon could come back unless he drops it. Yeah.
I think that another like more subtle part of the matchup that a lot of people don't consider too often is oh, they're going to high roll. I was gonna say, like, if it you know, usually they gentlemen to high roll. Generally, it's Dreamland only. But on Dreamland in particular, I think that a very subtle part of the match that isn't really talked about enough is invulnerability, right? Whenever a person gets, you know, loses their stock and they come back on the invulnerability platform, how much of that really dictates the pacing and the flow of, like, the next stock in particular, right?
See, that's what I mean.
Exactly.
I mean,
one
grab, aerial off stage, and Pikachu gets the stock.
That's right. But you know, whenever you think about, like, positioning, for Pikachu, positioning matters so much more in the sense that if they can have positional advantage, it means a lot more. Whereas for Falcon, having positional advantage over Pikachu doesn't necessarily mean as much, because you're looking primarily for, like, those 0 to death type of kills, and you can do that from pretty much anywhere on the stage. And arguably, it can be harder to do that when you're in a corner or when you have your opponent cornered, just because they can, like, DI out and options like that, and you don't have as many follow-up options. So just weird things to think about as we get into the game.
But yeah, but with high roll, you have a lot of room to just run around.
That's right. And with that, if rENEgadE loses a stock, it's not going to be as devastating for Duffman at the very beginning. He's not going to be as forced into the corner. Exactly.
Because on Dreamland, if once, like, Pikachu comes back, you have 2 seconds of, like, invincibility. And if you just, like, run, get Falcon, grab him, throw him off stage, it's done. And
it's, you know, Pikachu with invulnerability, like we said, really, really scary. And a lot of Falcons they tend to retreat towards the corners, and that's exactly where Pikachu wants it, because that's where you're guaranteed with one throw to be off stage. But so far, looking very commanding from rENEgadE. He's done a good job of avoiding all of Duffman's approaches. Duffman has been getting some stray hits here and there, and they haven't resulted in very much from a damage standpoint.
So Duffman just missed the fair, and Pikachu could, like, grab him, throw him, but I think the tent got in the way. So
yeah, there's a thing you can do, even though 64 doesn't have wall teching and things like that. There's something called tilting, where basically you push the Z button just as you're touching the top, or as a move hits you, and you touch the top of the tent on the inside of the tent, and it basically makes it so that you do, like, a roll on the stage whenever you land. It's just super weird, and I think that maybe you might see it from rENEgadE, but it's pretty fun.
So it's almost close to a 5-stock.
Yeah.
Duffman having trouble just finishing the stock.
And he's looking for probably back airs more than anything else here. And nice. That was so smart. Super smart. That's the one thing that's really good on this stage in particular. That little lip of that area lets you do some very sneaky aerials. Duffman, eager to maybe take a second stock as well. Gets a nice little sequence already.
80%.
Yeah, doing more in those couple of seconds.
He has a lot of work to do to finish this game. So the bear, Pikachu's off stage, but
a bit unorthodox. I think I would have gone for the stomp into the upbeat instead.
Right.
You know, but Duffman instead opting away.
That's it. So Pikachu can just follow Falcon and just catch him in the area whenever he does his upbeat.
That's right. I think that it was, I was talking with Bark Sanchez whenever I was housing him after Hitstun, and he said that something that's really big that not enough Falcons do is actually fast falling, right? And then contesting with something like an up air. Because it makes it so that for that moment, whenever Pikachu throws you off stage, it's really important to start fast falling, and then maybe do something like an up air to contest some of that area. Because the Pikachu in response has to like drop down with you, and you use some kind of an aerial just to get them off, and that does give you some opportunities to potentially recover. But speaking of having opportunities to recover, I don't know if Duffman's going to find any of that, even though Fox has better recovery than Falcon. That little animation, that startup on that Firefox just gives Pikachu all the time in the world to open up a newspaper, take a sip of coffee, and then still get the aerial out.
I mean, no matter how far Fox is, Pikachu has like a really good recovery.
Exactly. And whereas Fox is definitely limited from the offstage game because of the commitment that comes with the Firefox. But if maybe Duffman can start implementing some more aerials while he's recovering to make it a bit more difficult for rENEgadE to get some of these edge guards, he might start counteracting some of the daunting presence that Pikachu and rENEgadE have offstage. Offstage here, and look at him. It's just textbook. He snipes the jump. He puts Duffman in a horrendous position. He doesn't have enough in the tank to recover, and this is looking disastrous.
But yeah, but that's what rENEgadE likes to do. He likes to hang out under like one of the side plats, and then he wants you to approach. So you miss an aerial, he'll just dash dance back and then go for the grab.
And it's a really smart way to play as well, because you basically force your opponent to show their hand first, and you're able to react to that just so perfectly. But that was actually a very imperfect reaction. He doesn't properly space the nair, but he should be able to get this punish here. Unfortunately, he flubs that as well.
Air, yeah.
Wow, so a bit of...
So Duffman down air, or what, down smash. But then he gets the up air and gets the stock.
So we saw that even not JR, but even rENEgadE, he's not infallible on those edge guards. Again, he's a relatively newer player to the scene. He's just been improving so drastically.
But recently, Don't Get Hit, he had his set with LL, Ethan, who's a Fox main, and he beat him.
Yeah, it was pretty commanding too. I think it was something like 3-1 was the set count, right? I
believe so, yeah.
And I know that LL has definitely struggled with Pikachus previously. It was actually a pretty recent tournament before Don't Get Hit 3 where he was able to take out Wiki for the first time.
For the first time?
In tournament, yeah.
That surprises me.
Yeah, it surprises me too. But this matchup, like we said, it's just really difficult for Fox, and Duffman definitely learned that the hard way. 2-0 in favor of rENEgadE, dropping a total, I think, of, 2 stocks in that set?
I think so, yeah, just one each game. Yeah. But it's a hard matchup.
Definitely. For Duffman, he needs to work more on stage presence, because we didn't really see that too often.
Right.
Try to incorporate maybe some more lasers at times to force rENEgadE at times to approach. Things like down tilts are really great as well, and making it so that you can make the most of just your on-stage presence. Because while Pikachu is very, very scary and very formidable whenever you're off stage, when you're on stage, Fox has plenty of excellent combo tools, and Pikachu is just so fat that they can be victims of some of those 0 deaths. Granted, you have to work a little bit harder than you would with a character like Falcon, but you definitely have the tools that you need to be able to put together some really, really great sequencing and get some great kills.